Hey guys, so the review today is going to be one of my favourites. I'll try to be as non-biased as possible. So, what are we looking at today? We've got Beck and the Mongolian Chop Squad. Great little series. So let's have a look. So we'll call it Beck from now on because the full name's a bit of a mouthful. Now, it is originally a 34 book manga and written by a guy called Harold Sakuishi. I hope I got that right. If I haven't, sorry. Now, there's been three guidebooks as well, which are quite interesting to read. You can't get them over here, unfortunately. And it also has a very touching story about him meeting the Red Hot Chili Peppers, which is a band you can see all the way through the series that really does have a big effect on him. Now, it came out around about 2000 to 2008. And the DVDs and the show came out in about 2004. In New Zealand, it came out about 2007 through Man, which I really am thankful for. Now, there's two ways of getting this series. The first one is a individual discs. Now, the individual discs, you have to buy 6 of them at $29 a pop. Can be a bit expensive, but you do get a nice box that looks like a Marshall lamp with the first disc. Another option is to get the fat pack, and that's only about $80. You still get basically everything that you do inside the normal one, but you do lose the discount. But for a $100 discount, I can actually live with that. Only thing that is different between the books and the TV show is there's a few less side stories, which no real big loss there, but you do lose the funny little parodies of famous album covers, which I really enjoy in the books. Now, the story basically revolves around Kayuki, a pretty average 14-year-old boy. He's in junior high, and he's not a bad little kid, but he's basically drifting through life without any real purpose. He's got two childhood acquaintances. One is a pervert, the other one, ironically, is a highly sought-after female student. Now, overall, his life is pretty boring. Now, one day he saves a weird-looking dog, which is Beck from the title, or as one of the characters call him, the Frankenmutt. Now, his owner is up-and-coming musician Ray, or Reisky. Though he's Japanese, he spent most of his life in America, so he's influenced by all the Western music, especially the band The Dying Breed. He claims that he's a friend of the lead guitarist Eddie. Now, some characters think this is a ploy just for the ladies, and a total lie, but we'll leave that to later episodes to sort out. Now, Ray, who basically influences Kayuki to basically start playing the guitar, it even gives him one to try out. Now, the story then basically follows Kayuki's journey, learning the guitar, school life, problems he gets into because now he's standing out from the norm. Mixing a love triangle with Ray's sister Maho and Azumi, and Kayuki's life is basically nothing but normal. Now, running alongside this story is Ray's story. Ray's old band basically breaks up, and he sets out to make the ultimate band. He tries to recruit the best he can get, but sometimes he has to settle the best he's got right now. It takes a while, but he gets a pretty good band together. Now, they named the band Beck, or in America, the Mongolian Chop Squad. Not quite sure, but maybe they didn't want to get sued by Beck Hansen. Now, due to no fault of their own, a friend gets them blacklisted in Japan, and this makes the journey even harder for them. I won't go into any further because we're getting really close to spoilers here. Anyway, now the series has really no direct competition as it's really quite unique in the world of animation. I can think of a few TV shows and movies which have similar plots, but not really animation. Now, there is a few complaints that people have with this series, and I'll approach them now. Now, people say that the actual first 20 episodes are a little bit slow, but that's because the series does take a very realistic approach to the subject matter. Kayuki is a really talented guitar player, but his skills do take a good year to get actually to the level that they are. Now, this is good to show people, but basically, playing the guitar is hard. I mean, it's not like playing Guitar Hero here. I've been playing for 18 months and I'm not even close to Kayuki's skill level, but then again I do lack a major skill called rhythm. The band all have day jobs to make ends meet, and it shows really well what the reality of being in a band is like. An overnight sensation is really rare, and basically it takes a lot of work and a lot of good luck. Now, I do agree that the first 20 episodes are basically a setup for the last 5, but it gives you a chance to know these characters are really good. The second complaint is the animation is not the prettiest out there, but it suits the realistic tone of the show. Now, it is 6 years old, is shown in full frame, but for most people coming off the Family Guy or The Simpsons, you'll find it quite nice. Now, the songs at the start do sound a little bit lo-fi, but remember, they are playing in dirty clubs and bars, so it fits. Later on, the Dying Breed concert shows that there is a really good quality music in the TV show. I did get a little bit annoyed that the band seems to play the same intro over and over and over again. Maybe it's cost cutting, but that's just me. Now, the final problem is the ending. Yeah, it doesn't answer too many questions, but remember there's another 24 volumes in the actual books to go. I hope they do finish it because there is so much more that I want to know from the end of the show. Problem though for the viewers is I can't really tell you to go to read the books because Tokyo Pop only published the first 12 volumes, and I hope they do carry on with it because there is actually 2 more arcs. Now this is the first arc, the introduction and the Grateful Sound concert. The next arc is basically a tour of America, and the final story arc starts with a real big shock as one of the major supporting characters actually gets killed, and it's basically based around him and the fallout of his death. Now, let's get to the positives, and there are some really good positives. Now, what makes this series work well is its love of music, no matter what type it is. There's a lot of solid bands that they use to actually produce the music, and it shows. There's a lot of honesty about the impact of music, let it be the Beatles or Nirvana. And basically, I don't think that I can think of any other TV show basically achieving the honesty and the effects of music can have to people. Now, looking at the character models, you can tell that there's a lot of references to bands. The lead singer, Chiba, looks exactly like the guy from Rage Against the Machine, and Tyra, who's the bass player, looks exactly like Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers, right down to the Stingray bass he plays. If you can spread the books, you can actually tell this comes from Harold Sakuishi. He just loves music, and you can see they keep the heart of the story in this TV show. Now, one of the big surprises about the show is its supporting characters. Even characters that only get one word like Paige or Beck, basically they just have some great moments, and Sato is one of my favourites, and he basically turns from a demon when he touches the water, and then a moment later he's just the sweetest old bachelor you've ever met, even though he does have a huge stash of gentleman interest magazines. I really would have loved to play his voice in this thing because he has so many fun moments. Now, Beck itself presents some really interesting problems for anybody who wants to do an English dub. First is all the singing, and then in the original there's a lot of switching between English and Japanese. Remember that Maho and Ray in the original don't actually speak that great at Japanese, and they've spent most of their lives in the US. Now, the Japanese version, they basically they can't speak very well. Now, in the English version, they basically swapped it over to basically culture clashes. Now, how do they get around this? Well, all the cast in the English version actually do their own singing, and they do really good. I mean, they even tweak some of the language of the songs to get rid of some of the English that comes in the original, and they basically replace the language barrier with cultural barriers, and it really does keep the plot flowing of the dub. The acting is on par with anything else out there, voice-wise, and the actors seem to really enjoy the freedom of the series, as pointed out in one of the commentaries that this is actually one of the few times they could use F-bombs with no problems at all. Remember, this is from Funimation, which best known basically for their family-friendly dubs like, say, One Piece. Now, it's really hard for me to tell you guys which dub is the best. The Japanese has definitely the better emotion when it comes to it, but the singing has a lot of problems with English and stuff like that. Now, the English dub is in 5.1, and the Dying Breed concert sounds great, but you do lose a song due to copyright problem, but it's a pretty solid dub. My recommendation is to try both of them. One thing is to make sure that you've got the second subtitle track on there. For some unknown reason, mine doesn't always swap over. So, quick summary, guys. Is it a good show? Yeah, it's a really nice show. Will you guys enjoy it? Well, it really depends on your taste in music. If you're a rap or a techno lover, you're probably not going to enjoy it as much as, say, someone in a rock crowd or somebody who likes the guitar music. Now, there's a lot of references dropped, so basically anybody who's a fan of music can really enjoy this show. Is it safe for family viewing? No, I say this one's not a safe bet. A lot of F-bombs dropped in the show. One of the characters only says one word constantly, which is really quite naughty. Mixing a little bit of tasteful nudity and a couple of fights, and this one really does deserve its M rating. Now, my score on this one is 9 out of 10 White Falcons. Great show. If you have a chance, read it. If you like it, definitely buy it. Anyway, guys, I'm out. Have a good night.